Bah-weep-Graaaaagnah, weep ninny bong, of all the places in the universe, and you've stumbled upon a man in a shirt. Today is the episode everybody has been waiting for, at least everybody in my condominium. All of that's a joke. Yeah. Well, anyway, today is the episode where I talk about the last, I think it's 4 Lucy City albums that were not addressed in the other video I made. I'm pretty sure I only went up to Discog in that one. I wanted to talk about the other Lucy City and talk about the plans of the future of Lucy City. I want to do the update now because as it stands right now, I'm releasing no more albums this year or next year, but we'll talk more about that later. So basically, I thought I quit again music. I always think that happens, and then I end up making more and more, and then don't know what to do with it. Then I release it with hopes that it'll do some good for somebody someday. Hasn't yet, but maybe one day, right? So after Discog came out, I was faced with, well, how do I release a 10th album? You know, what's something special? What's something unique? What's something new? You know, for me, I like doing different things with each release that I can be proud of and say, hey, this one was really wild. And so for my 10th album, I decided to release 3 albums. So yeah, 10, 11, 12, technically. Yeah, it adds up somehow. So we have those, and then a new EP that came out recently I've been talking about a lot. All of this is on Bandcamp if you want to follow along at home, listen to it. Most of it's on YouTube up to Discog. The other ones will be coming up as the weeks progress and as I've got a weird style of how I'm uploading things right now. But the first album, the one that I consider number 10, I released them all 3 at one time. Pretty sure it was all the same day. I don't know. I think it was. So I consider the real 10th album to be the... Well, okay, no, it's not that one, actually. Let me go back. The 10th album is This Appointment. It's got the old album artwork from 2014 that I had been working on based on a sketch I had done. Didn't turn out how I liked it, so I used it as this. And this was kind of like a B-sides album in a lot of ways. There's a lot of loops and old different crazy things off the old ship of a computer I had. It was the last ones I could salvage. That's what kind of these 3 albums, the reason for them mostly is I had a lot of songs from that and just ready to go in my personal life, which was ready to be released. So This Appointment is a name I've been waiting for a long time, and I wanted to call it that. It's called This Appointment, not That Appointment, but This Appointment. And it's because it sounds like disappointment. And the joke behind that is if you look on Bandcamp, it's only 5 songs, and they're like, I think Beach Punk, Loop, first track I ever made, B-Pack Demo, which is a lot like the B-Pack era. It just had a different part changed. And one of my least favorite songs ever, Maddening Headache, which I had released once, got rid of. I thought it'd be funny to put on this. So at the looks of it, it's just a bare bones album. It's just 5 songs. The joke being when you download it, you get 20 extra songs, which are more fun, real loops, real good music from, off the old pirate ship. It's got stuff like Seas Heard, Der Ofen, DL88 goes a little long, but I love that drum loop. I had originally made that when I had a partner making music with me to see if he had any ideas for, but yeah, long story. It's got, not... It was just like a lot more loops and not as big songs like the other albums kind of had, was the idea for this one. And yeah, 20 bonus tracks. So if you didn't notice that, go to Bandcamp right now, you download it, you get 20 tracks with that 5 tracks. And that's the joke of Disappointment. It's supposed to sound like, oh, my 10th album is just 5 songs. How disappointing. We wait all this time. He does all this talk about how albums should be long and they should be fun and lots of different things, and he gives us 5 songs. So that was all just a fun joke. It's got the whole series of That's a Rap, which, is when I was making... all my beats I consider can be rap beats if you're brave enough, but That's a Rap were specifically made for a friend of mine, and he had spit over one. That was Mike the Great on at Met Not, but I don't know what the song was called. I'm getting to that point where I can't remember what every song is called. I used to pride myself on knowing every song and everything about them. But now it's gotten to the point where I've got so many and stuff, and I'm working on so many new that... And some of them have crazy names. The way I come up with names is just random. It's what it sounds like. It's what the day is. A lot of different things. So we got the whole That's a Rap series, which is 5 songs I made for that. It's got a song called MacGyver, which was made, pretty sure, just with like a rubber band and a coin and stuff. Like I went through a phase where I wanted to make stuff called MacGyver music, where I would just record stuff around the room, and didn't use real instruments and stuff, but it emulated real instruments. And so there's a couple of songs like that. We had the song back in the day, Madcap Campaign, that was made with my old water bottle just squeaking, opening and closing it, which was a challenge from my now girlfriend. She didn't think I could do it, whatever. But we got a lot of fun stuff on here. I'm looking at the list of songs. I remember Caesar. I remember that one being really big to me at one point in the days. Let's see what that one... We'll go to it live. That's how we do it. Lucy's City Camp over here. It's just a small little loop. Yeah, so you get 20 songs. Some of them are little loops, things like that. And, that was the idea of the 10th album, kind of just more of a funny little gimmick kind of joke sort of thing. And then what I would consider the main album of these releases it's called Snakes in the Grass. And that's just a name I've been liking for a long time. I've probably mentioned on the podcast before, just kind of the idea of nobody's going to like my music until a million people already like it. That sort of mentality kind of goes with the music, unfortunately. So Snakes in the Grass, again, has a lot of old songs from that old ship. For some reason, that's what Alex and I call our old computers, our old laptops. But from that old pirate ship, we got a lot of fun stuff, a lot more real songs, a lot of newer stuff, or just kind of my favorite song. One of my favorite songs I've ever made's on there. It's called Edo, and that one's really, really fun. We have a Conversation Amongst Friends, which was just an idea of, I think, two pianos playing like they were talking sort of thing. Abandoned Ship, Headache Highway. Every one of these albums has a headache song on it, which just kind of means it had a kind of a weird vibe about it that some might just say, hey, this is just going to induce a headache or something. So the fun thing about this album is I didn't really think beforehand what the order of the songs was going to be. They kind of just came organically. And so just a little something, spelled JS space A space LIL space SMTNG. Just a little something. I was listening to it one day and I forgot that was me who made it. It sounded even more video gamey, and it used instruments I don't normally use. And I just remember thinking, wow, this is actually a really cool song, and I didn't realize what I was listening to. And then Edo came on, and I was like, holy crap, I forgot I'm listening to Snakes in the Grass. Like, really mind-blowing to me that, sometimes I make songs and don't remember them exactly, and then I hear them, and it's amazing. And then it went right into Edo, which I love, and then, Blix was a good song on there. Monster Mash. Lily Pad's Mad Adapter, another old one that I really like. Then we have SCJ, stands for Small Cock Jonks, for anybody keeping notes out there. Nathan does know about that. I don't think he was very happy by that name, but I think I invited him to come over that day and he canceled on me, so I just, as a joke, I made a song called Small Cock Jonks. It's just a play on his name. But that one I actually really like because it does this weird thing where the beats don't exactly line up. So it's kind of like when you look at your blinker, you can see your blinker's reflection in the car in front of you, and sometimes it's blinking at the same pace, and then all of a sudden it's offset. This song does that, and I really like that style of it, and then it goes into the real, like, boom, 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 like, kind of more cliche than I would normally do, but it sounds really good, and I think deep down Jonks kind of liked it. Psycho's Delicacy, another older song. That one's me playing guitar on it with just other background drums. There was a time where I thought I was going to release more guitar work, but kind of fell off of guitar, which is kind of sad because guitar's a great thing. Jazz Lip. And we go to the Back Porch Acid, which is another big song on this album to me because that's another one like Small Cock Jonks that really takes a second to meet up with itself, and when it does, it sounds so good, and then it kind of trails away and you're like, oh no, and then it kind of comes back and it sounds so good again, and it's just I really like that style of music and what I'm making a lot, just because it sounds different to me. It sounds a little just wild, and it's fun because you think, well, this song's stupid, how does this even make sense, why would somebody release this? And then it starts getting into a groove and you're like, okay, I kind of like that, that's not bad. At least to me. What do I know? I'm the creator. I can't really talk objectively about it, but I mean, I can, but I'm not paid enough for that. Also, I think the reason the A and the C are both capitalized in acid is an AC Slater. Just, I think that's why I did it, or it was a typo, but I think it's because of AC Slater. Next song is called Festival of Recrimination. That's just a line from Peep Show. I like naming a lot of songs, you know. I didn't like back in the day where lots of bands were naming their songs super long quotes from movies and stuff. I thought that was kind of lame. But I do like little quotes and nods and things to shows and things that I like. Next comes Drumgrats. A lot of people say my music sounds like the old Rugrats music, and I used to have a keyboard that even more so, if you can believe it, sounded like Rugrats. But people still think that, and this one I felt really much like Rugrats, but with a heavier drum. And there's a song called Norm, named after Norm Macdonald. That might have been... Sometimes I listen to like Hamdi or something while I'm making music, kind of like low down, or I'll have to pause it repeatedly, and then I'll keep working on the song, or I need to hear parts of the song, and then I can get it through. Just something weird I do. So I was probably listening to Norm, and I remember really liking that song a lot too. Yeah, Kabunk, piano. Probably just me playing piano, let's be honest. Come On, Let's Dance. It's just play on Come On, Let's Dance, but it's like, hey, come on, let's dance. It's just a joke. Always dance. Keep dancing. Dancing is important. And then we have Penis Mightier Sword. I don't normally name my stuff crass stuff, but it's just a play on Pin is Mightier Than the Sword, and that's probably what I was originally going to name it. But knowing how I like to make things a little more kooky, I just changed it to that. And then Blast Atmospheric Model is a really good one on that one. A really good exit song. Really kind of... It feels right to end it on that one. And then... I didn't take Alpha Brain today, as you can tell. We go to USR Adieu, which stands for Until Some Rebellion Adieu, which just kind of means I had this idea in my heart that I was going to start making more live music and calling it Some Rebellion, because it's a rebellion towards the Lucy City we all know and love. It's a rebellion to how I make music and how I want it to sound. But I just keep getting trapped in, I like the software I use and the thing I use, and I can make so many, like I said, different kind of paintings, if you will, audio paintings that I enjoy, just being able to jump from branch to branch like that instead of having to sit down and play the certain song. And I just like having songs. If I've never said it before, Lucy City was created to never be performed live. I don't like DJs live, so I never wanted to sit there just clicking play on my songs and acting like people care. But I also wanted to make stuff, knowing that I wasn't going to play live instruments, I want to make stuff that sounded really crazy and really off the wall that I didn't have to worry about, oh, how am I going to do this live, though? So Until Some Rebellion is supposed to be, and it's still in the back of my mind, Until Some Rebellion, though, is supposed to be more, I think if I did do live shows, it'd just be Until Some Rebellion music, and then everything else is just never going to be played live sort of thing. We'll see. I don't necessarily like live for myself personally, how it is, and I don't like... I talk to some musicians and they talk about how you get paid by liquor sales, and I'm not a late owl anymore. I don't like being up all night, and I hate that they make you wait to play your set just so they can sell more liquor and stuff. So there's a lot about the current music scene that I don't really care about for live aspects for myself being in it. But maybe that'll change one day. Who knows? We never know. But Until Some Rebellion Adieu, this has got the first album not drawn by me. Technically, Specimen 7 was artwork that me and an ex had done. We used to play a game where I draw something, then she adds to it, and then I add to it, then she adds to it. We used to do stuff like that. That's where Specimen 7's artwork came from. But USR Adieu is the wonderful Ish the Dish. You've heard him on the podcast before. Ish_Dish might be his Instagram handle. Sorry if that's wrong, but look up Ishy. He's really good. Better than he'll tell you. And this was just, I said, you got anything that you want to contribute to Lucy City album? And he sent me this, and it looks great. I think a lot of people gravitate toward this album because of that artwork. Just because it does look so different and wild. It's kind of got the skeleton holding its face and falling back, and it's a little darker than usual, but I like it. And it's kind of almost weird that this album, when I chose the songs, I kind of chose a little bit more the crazy, maybe darker style ones to go with it, fit that style. So hopefully Ishi's proud of at least one or two of the songs on there that his art's accompanying. But yeah, I'd love to get more input from him, definitely for art. We'll see how the future goes. But so it's got a song called My First Time. Who knows what that's about? Piano Morris Rex. It's just another one of me just messing around on a piano, I'm sure. Cut While Shaving is named after Charles Bukowski poem that I love. When I first made these 3 albums, it was going to be Cut While Shaving, and then there's 2 other names I had that were all Bukowski poems, because I kind of see myself as the Bukowski of music, and that's not to brag, that's not to, say anything, except for I think if he made music, it'd sound like what I'm making, because he just did it. He didn't think about it. He wasn't trying to be commercial. He just wrote what he wanted to write, and I really respect that about him. And when I see a lot of his paintings and stuff he used to do, I see a lot of myself mirrored in that. Nishi has said it too, like, hey, that kind of looks like your crazy artwork. And so I always like to consider myself the Bukowski of music. And I put that in the notes when I send my music to radio stations. I say, hey, I'm like the Bukowski of music. And if you don't know Charles Bukowski, that won't make much sense. But if you do know him, you know what I'm saying, and you might be impressed. I don't think Bukowski would like it per se, but I don't know. I think Bukowski and I would get along in a weird way where he might hate me a little bit, I might hate him a little bit, but I think we'd find some good common ground. He's one of those people I'd like to meet. When they ask you, who would you like to meet, alive or dead? I think Charles Bukowski would be really interesting. As long as he's not too drunk, I'm sure he would just try to kick me off the couch or something. It's a good reference. Next song is called Hoso. I think it just reminded me of Shinji Hoso, who's like one of my favorite video game composers ever. He did 999, Virtue's Last Reward, and Zero Time Dilemma. He did all those soundtracks, and he's done a lot more. He did Liquid Soup or something was a song he made off that FM Module Maniacs album, which is a fantastic album. It's over on YouTube. You should go check it out. Space jazz is what I call it, and that's actually what inspired a lot of songs off of Nephilobata Sonata. Speak of the Devil, Nephilobata Sonata songs coming up right now. Then we have Slam Ev going into Cult of Snorlax. The weirdest thing about that is those songs were 2 different songs made completely different days on 2 different softwares, actually. Cult of Snorlax, I believe, was Pro Tools or Ableton. Probably Pro Tools, and Slam Ev was just a regular Ignite that I use. And they actually have a very similar vibe and style, which was never intentioned or anything, and I didn't even notice that when I put them together, but when I listened to this album back, I was like, that's really weird. They do sound like cousins or something, there's something close, but not quite the same about them, and I really like that. Next one's Not T. It's supposed to say naughty, but I'm clever as hell, so I said Not T. Chaotic Ramblings is a good one that really fits the album artwork in my opinion. There's Marimba. I'm really big into the marimba, and we're going to hear a lot more marimba songs from me, I'm sure. And then we have Headache 3. Like I said, there's a headache on every album. Intermission. Colorful Insanity is another brilliant one to me, especially with the album artwork. I think it works perfectly. And it's kind of like what it says. It's just a weird sounding song. It's a little bit insanity, but it's very colorful with how it sounds and very wild, and I like that. Then we got Flute, which is just named after me using a flute in that song. Another good one for that album cover. Malo. Not as in, what the hell is that? It's just kind of, I don't remember that song as much, honestly. Nasal Drip, though, I remember, because it sounds like it's got a tss, tss. It's got that in the beat a lot, which just reminds me of those nasal drip, like stick them up your nose and shh. It just sounded like that, like you're clearing your nose. Click, clock, clack, click. It's another fun with the drums. JFD, Just Frickin' Dance. It's another old one. That one was an old one from SoundCloud that I just pulled from there to put on an album. Because as we remember with Decathect, I was just going to release all the songs from SoundCloud that hadn't been released yet on Bandcamp that people could download. But I had trouble with finding a lot of them, so I ended up making a lot of new songs, and there's only a couple old ones on there. And then the other old ones that I finally salvaged off the old pirate ship came onto these albums. Alpha Lab, another great one. Beautitivity, another great one for that artwork in my opinion. Aquatic Carnival. Cockcrow is a fun one because it just sounds like a crow. Just caw, caw. It's pretty wild. And then Up in the Hair, I Do, which just is the last song. It's another really good last song for an album, in my opinion. But it was just, it's up in the air right now. I don't know what's gonna happen. Goodbye for now. When I was showing this music to people on Reddit, there was one user in particular that said, "Hey, it's really not bad music. It's good. I just don't know what you can go from there with. You know, I don't know how. I don't know what to tell you. Like, where do you go from this?" And you know, that always sticks with me because I was kind of like, you know what? I don't really know either where to go from this or what to do about this. So it's all up in the air. And at the time, I had that square grid for making music that I didn't like. So I kind of just said, you know, I don't want to make music anymore. My old piano broke, my laptop broke, people don't really care, my friends don't want to listen, they don't want to share it on their social media. It's like they're a little embarrassed of it, which hurts a little bit. I can understand. I mean, I'm not trying to be a top 40 hit. I'm just trying to make music that makes sense to me, which is what music should be, and that's what music a lot of is not. You know, if I was releasing the same drum beat with the same rat-a-tat-tat-tat cymbals that I hate, people would probably love it, but I would hate it, and I'd hate to have my name behind that. So, you know, it's just a difference in opinion, and I've always liked crazy bands. I've always liked Primus, and, you know, people like... Who else do I like? I like a lot of bands that are just different and sound a little weirder. And I like the sound where I like the fact that you could probably listen to Lucy City and be like, oh, that's Lucy City, just based on the sound. It brings a lot of joy to me to know that it's kind of got its own style. Good, bad. I'm the guy with the keyboard. Doesn't matter. I'm releasing the songs I want to release. I'm proud of all of them. They're all on my phone. I listen to all of them. You know, not every day, but a lot of times I'm like, hey, you know what? I just need some fun instrumentals in the background, and Lucy City is that. So yeah, that album was kind of like my goodbye, my see you later, so long, thanks for acting like you cared. But then something weird happened after all that, and I still had the square grid, and I think it was nearing my birthday about this year when I said, you know, last year for my birthday, I gave myself sobriety from liquor. And that was a great gift, and it's done a lot of good things for me. But what can I give myself this year? You know, what can I do to also benefit my life? And so I kind of said I wanted to make a rap album by the time my birthday rolls around. So I started kind of just messing around, tat, and making beats and stuff. And all on that square grid I didn't like that much, but I was like, hey, if I just make these beats real quick, I can take the beats elsewhere and rap on them later. But then came a little snag in the machine, is I don't necessarily like my voice as a rapper. You know, I'd have to add a lot of effects and stuff, and, you know, kind of like Lord Quaz does. I love how, you know, he gets all high-pitched and stuff. I'd have to do something like that, but I could never really find the right thing to get the right vibe, and so I just don't like my voice as a rapper. So, you know, I had after 3 days though, I had 13 beats, and to me, I was just like, wow, that's pretty intense to have 13 new songs in only 3 days. And so then I was like, well, I guess I kind of got an album here. You know what I mean? A couple of the songs were made on that podcast. Live music sesh. It's on the channel if you want to go watch that one. Made 3 songs that day, and then the other days I just made a lot of songs as well. And I was like, wow, this is a good pace. Like, I just made 13 beats to potentially rap over, but at the end of the day I've got 13 new Lucy City beats. What can I do with them? So then I thought, well, let me see if I can do it again. So in 3 days I had, I think, 8 more songs. One of them was an 11-minute beast. I love that song. It's gonna be really fun. And you know, I sat there and I was like, well, what if I make 3 albums, made 3 days each, so 9 days total, and just see what comes out of that. And then I was like, well, it's kind of the same gimmick of the 10th album, releasing 3 albums and no one cared. You know what I mean? And so I just kept those original 13 songs, and I said, I'm going to just release something called the Potato Salad EP. And the reason it's called Potato Salad is because in the song Tryouts it samples this as well, but it's from SpongeBob, where SpongeBob's like, I may be down, but I'm not out. And then it zooms out and his feet are stuck in potato salad, and the fish is just like, way to go, buddy. It take us 3 days to make that potato salad. 3 days! And he was just crazy about it. And I love quoting SpongeBob. It's up there with Peep Show and Kenny vs. Spenny and all those shows for me. So I thought, well, perfect name to call it, Potato Salad, because it took 3 days to make, right? And so, yeah, I released that recently. And it's the last album. Straight up, it's the last album I'm going to release this year and next year. It's got Tryouts. That's the song that's got the sample on it. It's really fun. That was the first one I made. These might actually go in order as I made them for the rapping. And the other thing that blew my mind, 13 tracks, 35 minutes. I was like, well, see, they're not like small loops or anything. They were like actual big songs to rap over. Kind of looped, of course. Lucy City's always looped in some way. But so we started out with Tryouts. We went to Torn Ligament, then to Hazing, which might be spelled wrong. I never actually checked. I don't think it has the E in there. And then my favorite name currently, and I keep saying this to people, but it looks like Jet Life, but it's really Jet Life. Like Get a Life, Jet a Life. So I always say that when I'm like faux bragging about things. I'm like Jet a Life. It's like Jet. I don't live the Jet life. I don't think I would. But then we go into Wilderness. I think that one might have been made live on record, and I know the next one was called Dino's Vimby. Of course, it's Dino Zombie. Which I talked about in the podcast, like how sad I was to have to call it Dino Zombie because I couldn't think of another name, and just the kits I were using were called like Dino and Zombie or something. I was like, this is the most sad anybody's ever been to name a song Dino Zombie. But I changed it to Dino Zvimby. For those of you that know the comic book code and stuff, I watch a lot of comic book men because of Alex. They talk about the comic code and how you weren't allowed to mention zombies. So their way around that was to call them Zvimbies. They would just put a V instead of an O. And so I just thought it'd be a funny shout out to that. Pretty sure that's not enforced anymore. Like the comics code probably is, but I think they've definitely lightened up on a lot of rules and stuff. I mean, yeah, Speedy's understudy shooting heroin on a cover, so I'm sure that was a rule at one point, but who knows. And File Safe might be the other one I made that day. Maybe it was GS Spook. I think it was just instead of File Safe, I just put File Safe. Clever. Can You Laser Boy? I just like the name of sometimes a name just pops into my head while I'm making music, and I'm just like, well, there's the name right there. It doesn't necessarily have to make sense, right? Who's listening? And then They Can't, which was not necessarily a response to Can You Laser Boy, but I put them next to each other on the album just because I had them both. GS Spook. Trying to think of what that GS stands for. Ghost Spook, maybe? Ghosts. Because a lot of this is called... So I go through phases, like... Because one of my favorite bands, the Gorillaz, they go through phases. Phase 1, 2, 3, and 4. And they're on phase 4 or 5 right now. And so I've always done that as I do new album cycles and stuff. Or just get out of old album cycles, rather. So there's like 7 phases. Plus now is the 8th one, which I call Phase Ghost. Because I thought I was going to be rapping under the name Ghost Galactic, which is my rapper name. That's what I write some poetry under, is Ghost Galactic. And I guess we'll go through that real quick. The reason of that name is I was in the old Target just unloading trucks every morning, and I would freestyle back and forth in my head. And at the time, I was intrigued by MF Doom. I wasn't a super big fan yet. Like, I've been listening to him a little bit in high school and stuff, but I just knew he was a character. And I wanted my own character. And I'm sure in my freestyling head I said, yada yada yada, most fantastic, call me Ghost Galactic. So it just stuck instantly, and I was like, I like that name. It's a little kooky, it's a little random, Why wouldn't you call it Ghost Galactic or Galactic Ghost or anything? But I've always been fond of the name Ghost Galactic. So that's why we're in Phase Ghost, because I thought I was going to rap on all these. Might be more about that in a second. Next song is called Photorealistic. This is that Hosa song playing. Nice. Photorealistic, but photo spelled F-O-T-O, because that's not very realistic to how you spell photo. Give you a second to laugh at that one. It's so good. Then this song was called Sell 'em Fish, but I changed it at the last minute to Sell 'em Fishta, because I always call it Ishda, because of Ish the Dish. And then Fifth Street, last song on that album. So I called this one an EP because it's only 13 songs, and I've been on a tear of releasing like 20 plus songs. I saw an interview where Pusha T was like slighting people who release long albums, and he said the only reason you release 25 songs is to up your streaming sales or some bullshit. Pusha T, maybe you should learn how to write more than 7 songs for an album, because that's some coward shit. I grew up listening to Sublime, and I remember, I think it was 40 Ounces to Freedom. There was only 6 or 7 original songs, but they didn't want to just release that because it's as an album. You're going to go buy it. They wanted to give you something to really, bite into, to have some real content and quality and content, quality, quantity. But I always respected that, and as a kid, I always thought if I released albums, they got to be longer, they got to be better, and I think, the mentality is, especially because back in the day, artists only had to write 3 or 4 good songs that'd be on the radio, and the rest was all filler just to sell music. That's how the industry was, and I think Pusha T's still in that, and you only need to release 7 because that's the only amount of good songs actually on the album. And that could be right for some artists, but for me, I have more than 7 songs in my heart right now, you know what I mean? I've got a lot of songs in my heart, and that's why I keep releasing them. And actually, let's get really kooky here. I'm gonna, as you can hear my chair squeak, and I'm moving around here. Let's see if I can find this, because I was thinking of this the other day. It'd be fun to go down memory lane. Which one is it? Some people are probably listening at home trying to decipher what I'm doing. So this looks like 6th grade. We had an art project to make our own album. It wasn't to make music, it was to draw our own album and make the backlist of tracks and everything. And I really bid on that, and I really liked this project, and I still have it right here, my original project. So I was so happy with it. So the band I called myself back in the day was the Banana Bandits. It's just a joke. It was what my friends used to call themselves for some reason, and I just thought it was the most ridiculous name, so of course stole it from here. But as I'm looking at it right now, I remember this the other night, there's 43 songs, and I remember, because everyone was only putting like 10 songs on their album, and I was like, wouldn't it be funny if an artist just had an album with just tons of songs, though, just ridiculous amounts of songs flying off the page. So that's exactly what I did, and that's exactly what I do now. Isn't that crazy? All because of Sublime. Blame it on the 40s. So real quick, let's go through these songs. Let's go through my old Banana Bandits album songs, which of course weren't written. They were just names that I came up with. First song was called Roadkill. I think that might have been the album name. Yeah, the album's got a banana singing, and then it's kind of funny, there's a Walmart truck just speeding towards him. This was way before Tremo and everything. There's just a truck speeding towards this banana peel on the road, and he's hardcore with his bandana. Not bad, actually. Might be one of the song's album starts. Brief spoiler for later. But the first song's called Roadkill, named after this. Real quick, I also don't like bands that they always say, oh, this album sounded the most like us, so we just named this album after our band, and the lead single is named after our band too. That's horseshit. You were just out of ideas. That being said, I almost guarantee you're never going to hear a song called Lucy's City and or an album called Lucy's City, because that's the band name. Everything else is attached to that. Just a quick pet peeve I've had. For some reason, that always irritated me. Yeah, this one sounds the most like us. They should all sound like you. What were you trying on the other ones? So anyway, Roadkill into Drop It Like It's Not Hot. Hilarious parody of Snoop Dogg there. Yucko featuring Defeat. Like The Feet, Defeat. I think it was making fun of the Cheat. I love the Cheat from Homestar Runner, so it's probably that. Song number 4 is actually called Walmart. Prison Chum, Mrs. Light Slide. Wonder where that came from. Coughing Bird, Not a Split. Bananas, probably named after Gwen Stefani. I remember I got that album and I felt so guilty with how much it swore for being a non-parental advisory album. I was like, oh, if my parents hear this, I was a very innocent kid and they weren't too big on me having crass stuff, so I was really nervous those days. Maybe I shouldn't be reading these. Maybe I should just steal these names for upcoming projects. Next song's called Who. Then Partay. I haven't read these in a long time, so this is all fresh. Like, this might be embarrassing, but we'll keep going. Banana Bandits. Ooh. Banana Bandits releasing a song called Banana Bandits. At the 13th song, already out of ideas. 14 was Almost Done. 15 is Shot. 16 In the Hospital. 17 Dead. 18 In the Graveyard. 19 Going to Heaven. 20 Alive Again. I think I just thought that was funny. You have all these things, but I'm dying. He's just alive again for no reason. Bagodoa, which was a weird word that I'd come up with a long time ago. Same with Mahoogan Pfeiffer. For some reason, that was like a diss. My friends and I would call each other Mahoogan Pfeiffer. God only knows what it means. Then The Season is next. Then You're Weird. Go Stab Your Knife. It's a little racy there for a sixth grader. Because that's a domestic abuse play on words. Crimson Trash Bin. Pink Spirals. Norwegian Man. That Shawl. Hand Pop. Soda. Pigsty. You Room. Hardy Har. Oh Yeah. What Color is Lotion? 36 is track number 37. Gosh, I've always been hilarious. 38's Paint. Then Sweeter. Row is the next one. Boat's the next one. My Hot Peppers for 42. And Doc Doc Doe, which is a really weird one to have for reasons I won't go into, but that's really weird that I came up with that in 6th grade. Because I actually knew someone that said that later on in life. Huh. Wonder where that came from. And so that was for school, but I have these other ones here. Jesus. The next one's got 93 tracks, because again, I just thought it was hilarious to have a lot of tracks on an album. So this is Banana Bandits. It's a banana looking like the first cover, but he's standing next to a giant grenade, and it's called So You Married a Giant Grenade. And he's just like, whoa, how does this happen? And something I'd like to know too. So let's go really quick through this track listing. This one's a long one. So You Married a Grenade, out of ideas instantly. You Big Dummy, We Back, Go to the Hizzy House, Butterfingers, Big Mama, B, Murder a Burger. That's insane. So I remember people praising Del the Funky Homo Sapien for in a freestyle rhyming Murder with Burger. Apparently I was on it before that even, because that was before I listened to Del for sure. Alcohol, Hall, and Drugs. And the next song is called Our Bad. 11 is Whoa, Who Died, FAQ, Not Gay, SWT, only God knows what that stood for. Fine is the next one. From the Crossbowa, crazy. Wiener Schnitzel, Super Deflecia. It's Deflecia, that was my old nickname. Malachi, question mark. That's my cat's name, but we all affectionately call her Mokai. Lost Mind. I'm surprised that's not a name nowadays. Boom, You're Dead. Ruined Up. XYZ. Don't Be Dumb, Don't Be Gay. I was really big on the gay word, I guess, back in the day. Never meant anything by it. It's just a word. Only idiots are offended. Mudafuka. Newly Bred, but like bread. Hilarious. Partin Martian. Uno equals 1. Some language teaching for you there too. Never Do, with 2 O's. Into Hoodie Fat. Maybe it's Don't Say Fat and Into Hoodie was separate. LU Lighter. I'm just curious what all this means. Lost Time. It's a Taco Cat album, I'm pretty sure. Money Burns. Waybotch. Never watched Baywatch, so I don't know why I made a pun on that. LVSP. If anybody knows what that means, tell me. SK8R. 4, the number. LYFE. Skater for Life. Still skate. Still holds up. Look at My Coconuts. Ain't a Word. Without You, I'm Nothing. Wow, I got a real sentimental track in number 41 there. Fowler. Don't Touch This. Prima Donna. Prissy. Suicidal. Ooh, that one was crazy. Ooh, that was heavy for me back in the day. I was a very dark. I really bit on darker themes, and I thought the reason you do that as a kid is because you think they're taboo and you think people don't say it because they're afraid. You don't realize people don't say it because they've already said it a million times and it's just so easy that they moved on. But you don't when you're a kid. And it's alright. We made it to now. Hypocrite's the next song. I love pickles. Number 49 is 50 and number 50 is 49. Number 51, Sorry. Please Forget Me next. Oh, I Got a Splinter. 54 is called my hockey number, which is true. When I played roller hockey, my number was 54. I should have kept my jersey. I got rid of that kind of recently. That was stupid. Got a Hangover. I always thought drug references and stuff were crazy. And back in the day, I was voted most likely to do drugs when we got older. And it's kind of funny because I'm the most tame and I've probably the most in control of all those people back in the day. I haven't seen them in years, but I'm guessing I probably made it out there more clear-headed than anyone. Love Ya. That's the next one. Rip My Pants. SpongeBob reference even back then. 58 is X. When You're Famous, Don't Leave Me. It's kind of funny because when I tell people they can use Lucy City, I say just don't forget me when you're famous. So What is next. Some Miles Davis kind of stuff. 61's Grounded, which I was never grounded as a kid. Why Is This CD So Weird? That one's accurate. The Big Balls. 64's Nintendo 64. Camouflage, Naturally. I Promised I Wouldn't Cry is number 67. Our sentimental one, I'm sure. Gas, That's Fat. I might actually use that one. That one's not bad. Beaver Dam. Edgy again. That Darn Cat. Named after my black cat, I'm sure. Rules with a Z. Faux Show and Tell. It's another pretty silly one. That one's more like the Alex and I made a song. We'd probably call it that. Spica. Buy This CD Please is number 74. I Need a Girl is number 75. A little desperate. 76 is Falling. Then Out a Window. There are 5 members in this band, which I don't know why that is. Bam Soap. Women and Their Moods. Jeez, that one's going to give me trouble. Bananas, that is not how you spell it. It's Bannanas. Oops, What Did I Say? Nothing Jerk. Backwards. Forwards. Dude Smell This. Albino Guy. Wow, Please. 89's I'm Burning. 90's Help. 91 is Save Me. And then 92 is I Am Okay. And 93 is All For... Wait. That's All, Folks. Spelled folks horribly wrong. Well, duh, you bought the CD is what it says on the side there. And then the last one, it only takes up about a third of the page and there's 35 songs. This one was called Lost at Sea. And it's got the banana yelling for help while he's just floating around in the sea. I wonder if my teachers know that I continued doing this and basically turned band Lucy City into the Banana Bandits. It's weird how many names are in this world, though. Good lord. So that one has Lost at Sea, Gar, Cages, Wasna, Ballers, Viva La Bandit, Spoon, Fork, Knife, Scar, I'm Gonna Go, Field. I have a song called Fields now, so that one actually almost came to be. You Stank, Ha Ha, Hi, So What, One on One. That was actually... Okay, so another So What. Both each without an H spell in it, so not very clever there. Maybe I'll call one Reprise. But then One on One and then Rap Ain't Crap were actually 2 songs I actually wrote back in the day. Very bad songs. If I ever find the lyrics, I'm going to burn them. Then I Wanna, Old Days School Rap, Old Weirdo, Mustard Hurl, Big Pimp Te, Big Pimp, I don't know what that is. T-Fic, Head to Fire, Bold Header, Not A, Got an F+, Bake Me Up Some Pie in the End. It's not bad. Surfing on a Check. Shout out to original Lucy City member Ryan. He'll get that one. Move. Number 30 is 31. Number 31 is 30. Clearly that joke never got old. 32 is Pez. Then Drums with a Z. I might have a song called that. And then Cartoon Network. And then Smack. Yeah, so not very imaginative. That's why I probably ended up on that one. But yeah, it was an old 6th grade project that grew into a little bit more, and unfortunately keeps growing every day. And so, yeah, that brings us to every album and everything I've ever made. And aren't you a better person for having heard that? So I guess we'll talk about quickly what the plan is moving forward. As I said, what do you do? What can you do? But as it stands right now, I'm not going to release the rap album. Sorry, everybody. But I do have a goal to release one new song every day next year. And I think that's going to be easier than even I think, but who knows? I've already started. I started a couple days ago. I want to have 90 songs done by the end of this year. It's right now October 17th. I want to have 90 songs done just to have good headway for when I inevitably have breakdowns and want to quit again and think it's all stupid and don't want to do it. Right now, as it stands, I've got 65 songs ready. So, for better or worse, you get a new song a week next year. But I've been making a couple songs a day, partially probably because sober October, I'll be real. But that's the plan, that's the goal. 365 new songs by the end of next year. And after that, I honestly don't know what to do. I'll probably just quit because I don't imagine... It's a gimmick. It's a slight gimmick just to try to bring people to my YouTube and my Bandcamp. But part of me also feels like, is anybody still going to care? Like, it's still Lucy City. It's still these fun songs that I make, and I'm still proud of them. But, you know, is it really going to change people's minds? Maybe not. So, we'll see at the end of next year what we end up with for Lucy City. It could just be the end and I quit making music forever and I get a 9 to 5 and I live miserably the rest of my life wondering what could have been. I'd at least be proud to know I did it. I put myself out there and I did it, but you know, sometimes you can only tell yourself you're great so many times. Sometimes you need somebody else to tell you, hey, you're not doing bad, kid. So we'll see. If it brings people to me, great. I don't know what the plan will be at this point. Probably just release a couple more albums and stuff, but yeah, when I say I'm not releasing albums next year, I'm technically releasing 12 because I think I'm going to release them on Bandcamp is like each month, and then I'm going to try, I think, YouTube to do it daily on this channel here. And so yeah, it's looking good right now. It's looking like a Banana Bandits album, so that's pretty dope. And yeah, if you hear this and if you hear that, share it. Tell everyone. I mean, somebody's got to like it. I like it, and you know, even when I try to think about it partially, I still think, hey, this is a viable song. It's still real vibrations that have their own, you know, meaning, and I think some people might need it out there. Maybe they don't. But just tell everybody, let everybody know. It's all free. I mean, I do have a joke where I might make every album $500 on Bandcamp, but then if you buy the discography, it's only $5. So I think that'd be funny. But we'll see. Right now, it's pay what you want, and I'd rather you just be free. I think music should be, as I've always said. You know, if you like the artist, give them some money. If you don't, well, you at least listen to it, and everyone moves on. So I think I'm going to end this there. We talked about the last 4 albums since Decathect. So we got brought up to current. Talked about Banana Bandits randomly. I wasn't actually expecting that. And we talked about next year and the plan and the goal. And I mean, we're making good headway. Like I said, 65 songs, and I've still got 2 full months to, you know, make more. So I'm hoping I have at least 100 now going into the next year. And it's not that I'm being lazy with the songs. It's just that I'm challenging myself and giving myself more time in the day to work on them. So it's not like I'm just like, pop, 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 done, this is a song. It's more just like, okay, I have more free time now with less work right now and other projects kind of on a lull. I've just been giving myself more time for music, and it's been making a couple songs a day. And yeah, 65 new songs is about 3 hours worth of music right now. I'm excited. Hopefully something comes of it, but if it doesn't, I mean, I'll probably end up releasing 10 a day then at that point. Who knows? Like, clearly failure hasn't scared me away yet. And everyone talks about that, how you got to embrace failure and how it's part of the process and you're going to fail more than you succeed. And some days that's really hard, especially when you see some YouTube channels that have all these viewers and stuff. You're like, this person's horrible, though. And I'm not any better. You know, I honestly believe in this life, compared to everybody else, I'm just as. And that just means like what it sounds. I'm just as good. I'm just as bad. If I call you a piece of shit, I'm just as much of a piece of shit. It's just how it works. And if I'm praising, I'm just as I have the power, I have the ability. I'm happy with what I'm doing. I'm digging what I'm putting out. My favorite thing is when I make a song and it gets stuck in my head and I forget which song it is exactly, and I have to look through and then I find it and it's like, wow, that's really cool. To me, there's no other grand feeling than getting one of your own songs stuck in your head. And it happens to me a lot. I've got a lot of songs right now, but yeah, that's it. Thank you for listening. Thank you for coming to this channel. Thanks for stumbling upon a man in a shirt. Thanks for listening for the past 45 whatever minutes, 47 minutes maybe. Thanks for listening. Thanks for contributing. Thanks for being a part of it. I mean, I'm nothing without my fans, and I call them the Chang Gang. So if you're listening, you're part of the Chang Gang, and I love you. And also, if you're a musician and you're listening, if you want to remix or master or rap over or sing over or contribute art to any of my songs and music, please do. I'm going to try to, I don't know, I'm not much of an artist, as you can tell. And I don't know if I'm going to have different artwork for every song. But if I do, I need 365 pieces of art. So send me your pictures, send me your art, send me what you want to put it as. And I'll give you credit. It's not for me to hoard or anything. It's just a collective of artists helping artists. And like I said, if you're a rapper, use my beats. If you want to get an avant-garde style of rapping, I tell people on Reddit all the time, if you want to be avant-garde and do something that's not really out there, try rapping to one of my beats. And you can use the beat. I'll give you the WAV file. You can get it off Bandcamp and everything. It's all free. Just give me production credit, and or just, let people know who made the beat. And like I always say, don't forget about me when you're famous. You know what I mean? And also, what came on later is this used to be all for rapping, basically. But I also realized how the music sounds, and if you ever have a video game or an app or something that needs some music, we can talk about that too. I don't want to get burned on a deal. If you're making millions of dollars off my music, I don't necessarily like that, but while we're making nothing, we're equal partners, you know what I mean? And I don't expect much from this, but yeah, if you got apps, games, a lot of people say I sound like video game music, and I embrace that wholly now. So anything you got, anything you want to do with it, just let me know, and keep the love in it, keep it crazy, and I love you all for it. So thank you, and have a great rest of your eternity. Until next time, we'll see you later.